We're on. Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
We're back. It's been a little while, hasn't it? We've had Christmas and New Year and stuff.
Yeah.
We may or may not have been drinking and eating a lot of food.
A little bit, yeah.
But today's perfume, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And it's cold outside, but we're nice and warm in here to talk to you about. It's not. Is it a house yet? Is it a sort of a new venture? I mean, it is a house, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's interesting. One of our very recent videos was Gravitas Perfumes by Mr. Smelly, a YouTube reviewer releasing a fragrance. Last year we talked about Jeremy Fragrance's Office for Men. So here we have another YouTuber's fragrance, but this is different.
This is born of a long-term passion, isn't it?
Yes, because so we're talking about, I think we pronounce it Centauri Perfumes, as in Alpha Centauri, as in the star. I think that's what it is. So this is Peter from Fragranceview, which is a channel that it was one of the ones before we started. It's an old timer, isn't it? I watched a lot. And I found his channel quite different to all the other channels. One, I loved his videos about making perfume, about the process and how you actually make different accords work and how you kind of structure a perfume and looking at his perfume organ. And I remember watching his videos saying, oh, when I make my perfume, and this was years ago, and he was starting the process, thinking about the process. The other thing I loved is that, to see his reviews, and he wasn't just talking about crowd-pleasing, panty-dropping fragrances. And he wasn't afraid to say he hated things. So it was, I think his videos were honest.
He's legit, isn't he, as they would say. So what do we have here today?
So I bought a couple of samples from his two new fragrances. They come in this little bag like this, saying Centauri.
Really nice.
So this is Dendera and Gaea. I've had these for a little while. So I'm going to we'll start with Dendera. This is sold out already. So these are both 30ml extras. Dendera is 133 pounds for 30ml. It is sold out at the moment, but there's a new batch coming in February.
Good.
So they're here.
Well, let's hope it's fun. I like the look of it already.
I should also say, I mean, just to talk about the brand a little bit more. So he had, like, he's not done a Kickstarter campaign or anything like that. He's gone straight in with really classy bottles. I haven't got a bottle here because you just got samples, but I'll include a picture of these big, heavy, sturdy bottles, which he's obviously put a lot of thought into. And I also really like the fact that he's had these samples available. So £12, including delivery, for both these samples in this little bag. And
there are little bits of paper with descriptions on them.
Little cards, with a description.
It makes a big difference, doesn't it, to sort of go to all of this effort?
It feels slick. It feels finished product.
It's pro already.
It feels he's not just dipping his toes in the water. He's really going for it.
Putting his whole foot up to the ankle.
Yeah, up to the knee at least. So let's stop talking. Let's start smelling. As I say, I've worn these a bit, but Joe hasn't. So let's get up.
The first sprays of 2020. Here we are.
Yeah, very emotional.
Oh, I'm already getting some lovely things here.
Actually, I tell you what, I'm going to have another one myself, just to remind myself. So Dendera, Dendera is inspired by ancient Egypt, which I think is good because Joe, half Egyptian, so home territory.
Oh,
you're straight there, aren't you?
Yeah. Very dry and very.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very sweltering dry heat.
It's really beautiful, isn't it?
Really fantastic.
I mean, he's just hit the nail on the head in terms of transporting you to a world of deserts and spice and arid winds, kind of.
And there's that lovely fresh, clean medicinal oud going through this. That I sometimes talk about this paint accord.
Well, I think I get this.
I get it here. Like there's an oud coming somewhere in here, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that comes even more later. I don't know if we'll get there in the course of this video, but I think that in the mid it comes out more. But you get that slightly medicinal myrrh that you get in what's the tower myrrh one, which is very bandages-y.
Lone Star
Memories. I mean, that's a more kind of extreme example of that. So this is not this much. Well, in fact, if anything, we're probably more in the area of Leurs du Desert Marocain, I think. Yeah. In terms of kind of spice. A lot of nutmeg.
Yeah, it's very like a sort of a very dry cake that you've left in the oven for way too long.
I'm going to refer to mine. I've worn this a few times, so I've made notes, but Cinnamon as well.
Yeah.
That's the cake. That's the kind of cakey
That's the cakey thing, isn't it?
And I think because
it's not cakey as such, but
it reminds me.
There's a dry, arid baking soda thing going on. Not baking soda.
And I think the nutmeg gives you that slightly, just a slightly kind of acrid medicinal quality. Just a little bit. It's not too much. When I see,
it's quite troubling in a way. Like it's not a sort of, oh, this is nice.
Yeah,
it's got a bit of danger to it.
Yeah. It's not kind of too safe, is it? But yet I feel these notes aren't brash. Maybe the way we're talking, it sounds that it's a bit kind of chaotic. I don't feel that it's chaotic. It feels like
it's very complete and round.
Yeah, I think it's
nicely done.
It's saying a lot, but it's actually saying it quite well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's kind of smooth. It's not too wild.
Quite lean as well. I mean, it's sort of there's depth behind it, but it's hovering.
Yep.
In the air. It doesn't swamp at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel thick.
Yeah, I found on the whole when I wore this, I was really aware of it, but I wouldn't describe this. And this is kind of what I expected from Peter as well. I wouldn't describe this as a big fragrance at all. This is definitely not a shouty fragrance.
No.
This is one which just kind of hums around you and sits like an aura as opposed to
there's like a streak of light going through it. So like a javelin rather than a shot put.
Sure.
Just I say that like I've done any kind of sport ever.
So this oud, I think it's Thai oud. Let me just see. But the oud becomes more and more prominent, I think, in the mid of this, and it's not a big skanky oud. It's a very round, smooth oud. It actually reminds me a bit of the oud in titular from Prasanna by Prinlong.
Yeah.
That. So that you're very, very aware that this is an oud fragrance, but it's not dirty, funky, but yet you're aware it's quality.
It almost feels like a non-perfume oud. It feels like you've just stumbled across this bark.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been treated by a perfumer in any way. It just feels... I think it feels in its home environment somehow.
We're so used to seeing oud rose or oud, whatever, when you're smacked around the face by oud. Here, it just feels like it could be, you're in you've walked into a tomb in a pyramid, and there are spices and things, and there's a big wooden chest of dark aged wood.
Absolutely.
And I think
quite salty as well.
Well, I think
there's some saltiness coming through here.
I think this kind of salty, dry, and what you get in the dry down, you get to a bit of an ambery hum. I think is ambergris kind of working his magic.
Okay.
Because I've seen on Instagram he's kind of posted a few times about. I think he made. I think I'm right in saying he made the tincture himself. So
fantastic.
This has got a real ambergris in it. And I think ambergris can kind of do wonderful things. You can't quite pin it down, but it's just the effect it has.
It gives a feel, doesn't it?
And I wonder if this.
There's an iris in here.
Yeah, I think there's some. There's
a sort of iris or carrot seed thing going on.
Yeah, there's iris butter. Yeah, so there is some iris in that, giving just a hint of kind of. In the mid, I feel these kind of iris and a little bit of rose work with the.
They're just very clean, though.
Yeah.
Very. I mean, there's a lot more depth behind this as well, but I would be quite happy with that as a really fresh, bracing sort of thing as well. And it's not a freshie or an aquatic or anything like that, but
no,
it's just this very lean, sharp, bright, crisp.
Absolutely. I
think ingredients you wouldn't associate with that performance.
When you talk about spice, oud, ambergris, rose, you expect something heavy, dense, possibly even cloying.
Yeah,
which this isn't.
It doesn't come close. It's beautiful.
And you still get this kind of dryness and this feeling of like a big dry breeze blowing over.
Really well made, I think.
Really beautiful.
I'd like to try that on skin at some point.
So should we move on to Gaea and come back? So this one is not sold out at the moment. So this is still available. This is a bit cheaper. This is £98 for 30ml.
Very reasonable.
Extra, yeah. So it's a good price. So Gaea is in Earth Goddess. I mean, I'll see what you think, but this is absolute opposite. Of the last one.
Thanks.
I'm going to take a stick as well. And I see what you were reminded of, because there were two fragrances which sprang to mind. This is a bigger opening than Dendera.
Yes, absolutely.
The way the kind of space it's kind of filled the loft.
Oh, I tell you what, I really like that.
It's just, I mean, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It is green and earthy. That's what I feel like straight away.
Yeah.
I
really like that a lot.
So can I tell you that I get a real earthy, dry, earthy, almost like a petrichor kind of accord. And to tell you, and with it, there's a real green there's a green leafy quality.
It's a slightly sweet green, isn't it? Like a garden pea or something.
I think I would say almost kind of fruity.
Yeah.
Juicy. I don't mean juicy fruity. If you say juicy fruity, you could think it's like bubblegum or sweets. It's not like that. It's better than that. But I was reminded a little bit of Undergrowth by Rook.
Yeah.
That kind of soil. But also, I felt this Gaea feels quite different to Dendera. It reminded me almost like a zoologist, like it could be a zoologist fragrance. Yeah. And I thought a bit of bat.
Bat or worm whenever they finally make worm.
Or they don't worm. But do you know what I mean? As opposed to Dendera, if anything, it reminded me a little bit of like Lady Desmaracaine, that kind of tower oriented. Yeah. This feels completely different.
I would say with this that where you get, say, in bat you get like a banana thing and damp cave. And here you're getting like a slightly honeyed, like I get a sort of honeyed tobacco with soil, damp soil.
Well, I find
it's not tobacco, but there is a honey aspect here.
There's a kind of a waxy honey kind of quality, which I think becomes bigger in the middle.
It's not too sweet though. It's not.
No, it's not.
Sometimes honey can be hard work.
It's interesting smelling on a strip. When I put it on skin, I felt I got a bit more green fruity. Whereas actually, I'm getting it, and having it here, I am getting a little bit more honey even from now. Whereas on skin, the honey kind of came down in the mid.
I guess skin causes it to dissipate more, doesn't it? The heat of your skin.
Yeah. And
I really like that a lot.
It's really, as opposed to the other one, which is very dry, arid. This is really, it's kind of walking through a garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've kind of got the soil, kind of just after the rain, as opposed to the other one, which is very dry. This is very verdant, isn't it? It's like freshly. It's just been raining. You can smell the dirt. You've got everything's green.
Do you know what I'm thinking here? And this will sound like a really weird thing to say, but if Yataghan did something like Yataghan Sport or something, I know it sounds bizarre, but...
No, I think this has got wormwood in it as well, which is what's in Yataghan. So I think that's why...
There's some...
Yeah.
It ought to be a really depressing, dark, and quite austere fragrance, but actually it's got this light going through it, and it makes me smile.
Yeah. And it became, when I wore it,
Shaggy comes to mind as well. Well, it doesn't smell like it, but
yeah, a little bit.
The balance of sweet, savoury.
And when I wore it, after about half an hour, it became. Got some florals coming in. You got some white florals. I can't remember if there was lily, but there was definitely. I think there's definitely some tuberose, which then kind of riffed on that kind of slightly sweet-ish aspect. So it kind of stayed sweet. And then
it's a good counterfoil, isn't it, to the dampness?
Not that you get it now, but on my skin when I wore it, I think there is also a bit of ambergris. So at the end of it, you get this kind of like slightly savoury amber dry down.
It's bloody good stuff, isn't it?
Even now, I get there's a bit of wood, like some.
This mossy wood.
Yeah, cedary, mossy. It's just really playing into that walking through a forest, walking through a garden.
But again, quite realistic as well.
Yeah, quite realistic, quite fresh.
It doesn't overload you. It's not huge. Again, I find it's bigger than Dendera, but sometimes we can make a perfume too enormous and whack people across the face with this smells like a tree, this smells like damp soil. This actually, I think, invites your nose in to sort of sniff deeper.
It is very interesting. And after I know when I first sprayed it, I said it was quite big, but. Once it gets past that quite big, bright green opening, it does become a little bit more mellow.
But in a beautiful way.
Yeah, like you're sitting in a garden rather than it being kind of fussy.
Yeah, it's just sort of humming.
Should we go back to a bit of Dendera as well?
Yeah, let's see what we've got here.
God, it's chalk and cheese. So now, when I pick this up, I get the Taiud straight away.
Yeah.
Because we're getting into that mid where I think there is a lot of Taiud.
It's beginning to smell a bit more.
Let me just look at my
like salty skin now. It's quite serious, isn't it?
I've written oud very prominent in the mid. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, I can buy that.
It definitely kind of turns into an oud fragrance. And
very, very well made.
Very well made. And what I think, is I think you're starting to get, even in this short video here, when you wear them, you really get a feeling of kind of 3 stages. Mid, opening, mid, and bottom. And there's a really pleasing segue without anything being too brash or too in your face.
The Gaea, it's a really weird association, but a few years ago, Martha and I were staying in New York, and just outside the apartment that we were staying was this beautiful smell in the air, and this really reminds me of it. I don't know why. There was just this lovely, sweet, earthy thing going on.
It's lovely.
Really good.
So I've got to say,
I really like both of those a lot.
I think he's done, a really fantastic job.
Yeah.
Personally,
I'd like to see what he does next.
Which one do you prefer?
Gaea.
Yeah, interesting. When I saw them, I thought I was going to love Dendera, and I thought about blind buying it actually, and I think it's a really, really, really great fragrance. I don't personally, for the fragrances I have, I don't think I would buy this because I've got a lot. I think I've got a lot of other fragrances which do similar things.
Yeah.
And as I said to you just before, I think this is a very, very, very good fragrance. But for me, there's something which doesn't quite wow me.
Yeah.
It feels like it's executed well. For a first fragrance, it's
stunning. I mean, really, really impressive.
But for my personal taste, it just doesn't, set my heart racing. But
it doesn't make me smile. It makes me admire it and think, wow, okay, yeah. The Gaea instantly makes me feel happy and wow. Spring. Yeah.
Spring in a bottle.
Spring, but with some serious stuff behind it.
Yeah.
It's not just bright green in your face. It's a thinking man's fragrance.
No.
Thinking woman's fragrance.
All in all,
really
I think we'd have to say very, very impressive. Well done, Peter. You've done good work, and I'm looking forward to trying the third one.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, and this is Gaea is still available.
Yes, Gaea is still available.
I'm order some
and Dendera will be available from February. We'll put a link below to the website. So congratulations, Peter.
Thanks for bringing those down. I really like them.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing what other people have said about them. I mean, as I said, they come in beautiful bottles, so I'm sure there are people who are really happy to own one of those big chunky bottles. Lovely. But if you have tried them, and if you had, let us know your experiences.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Bye.
Happy sniffing.